Hello and welcome. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's developing stories and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. The week-long Make in India event begins in Mumbai. Prime Minister Modi, to inaugurate the event shortly, says it's a celebration of the achievements of the manufacturing sector. David Headley continues to make startling revelations in the 2611 case. Bolstering India's case, he says Pakistan action against terrorists involved in the case was superficial. Student unions continue protests against the arrest of JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar. Leaders of CPIM and JDU meet Home Minister Rajnath Singh demanding Kumar's release. Congress and DMK joined hands for the assembly elections this year in Tamil Nadu. Seat sharing formula to be finalized later. And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad vows to retake all of Syria. Declaration comes day after world leaders sought cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country. Well, our top story this evening, the Make in India Week in Mumbai was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. The week-long campaign holds a promise to make the country the world's manufacturing hub. It's being touted as the largest business expo hosted by the country. As many as 2,500 foreign delegates and 8,000 representatives of Indian companies are participating in the event.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Make in India Centre at the Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai on Saturday. Seen as an initiative to provide greater impetus to the ambitious campaign, the week-long event is to encourage international companies to manufacture their goods in India. Since the launch of the initiative last year, India has surpassed China and the US as the top destination for FDI. The Prime Minister has previously described the Make in India Week as a celebration of achievements of the manufacturing sector that offers insights into the investment opportunities in India. During the week, the Prime Minister is expected to hold bilateral meetings with senior foreign leaders from different countries. The event will also see over 9,000 delegates from different countries participating. The Make in India Week aims at promoting India as the preferred manufacturing destination globally. Over the course of a week, it will offer access and opportunities to connect with Indian and global industry leaders and central and state governments. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's cut across to Mumbai, where this event is being held live. Right now on your screens, you can see the opening ceremony of the Make in India Week beginning in Mumbai from today. Prime Minister Modi will be addressing the event shortly. Now, ahead of the assembly elections in Tamil Nadu this year, Congress and DMK have decided to join hands and contest the elections together. The two parties have forged an alliance after 3 years. Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad met DMK chief M. Karunanidhi at his residence in Chennai on Saturday. After the meeting, Azad said that issues like seat sharing will be discussed soon, and the main priority at the moment was to ensure that DMK comes back to power in the state. Azad also said that the election would be fought under the DMK's leadership and put the responsibility of roping in more constituents into this alliance on the party. Both the Congress and the DMK had parted ways in 2013 over the issue of Sri Lankan Tamils.
Like in the past, we have worked together, we have fought election together, we have formed government together, and I'm sure these coming months and the coming election also will fight together, will be one, and I'm more than sure that we will form the government under the leadership of DMK party, and DMK, Congress and other allies will be a very formidable combination to defeat other political parties.
This government is silent. This government does not care for the people, whether they are agitating, whether they have genuine demands or not. They don't care. They only care for themselves. The Chief Minister cares for themselves, herself. So that is how the government is going on. So we want this government to be pulled down. So we want a formidable alliance, and we don't mind accepting parties with us.
Now, the mortal remains of the 9 soldiers who died after an avalanche hit their post in Siachen Glacier on the 3rd of February have been brought down to the Siachen base camp in Ladakh sector. The remains will be taken to Leh after the weather clears. The Met Department has predicted clear weather on Sunday, so the remains will most likely be taken out on Sunday. The bodies will be then transported to Delhi and subsequently to their hometowns. Among the 10 soldiers, only Lance Naik Hanumantappa was miraculously dug out alive, while the 9 other bodies were recovered on the 9th of February. Now, it's day 5 of David Coleman Headley's deposition in the 2611 case, and the string of startling revelations continues. Casting doubts over Pakistan's seriousness to fight terror, Headley told the Mumbai court that the action taken by the country against terrorists was superficial. Following this, the BJP has demanded that Pakistan be declared a terrorist state.
David Coleman Headley's Pakistani handlers told him that nothing concrete would happen against Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi and Hafiz Saeed, the men believed to be behind the 2611 attack. Headley also told the Mumbai court during his deposition that the action taken against them by the Pakistan Federal Investigation Agency is superficial.
I invited Headley's attention to various emails, and though emails were in a coded language, I did ask him as to what has been communicated to him when Headley was in US, that nothing will happen against Hafiz Saeed as well as Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi. I did ask him that whether Major Iqbal of ISI and Samir Ali of ISI, Major Abdul Rahman Pasha were arrested in the conspiracy of terror attack of 26 November. Headley said, according to his knowledge, they were never arrested by FI.
Shedding more light on terror activities post-2611, Headley also said that he visited the Indian Army Southern Command headquarters at Pune in 2009 on the instructions of ISI's Major Iqbal. Major Iqbal wanted Headley to recruit some military personnel to get classified information.
In fact, it is made it very clear by David Headley that even after the terror attack of 26 November, the Lashkar and ISI, they were intending to attack Army College as well as Southern Command, that is the Army headquarters of Southern Command of Pune. And that is why David Headley was asked to make the reconnaissance of the important places.
Following Headley's revelations, especially the ones against Pak action, the BJP has demanded that India initiate a diplomatic exercise to have that country declared a terrorist state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side too. Stay tuned.
Subhash Chandra Bose gave a revolutionary edge to India's freedom struggle. Netaji, as he was popularly known, was elected Congress president twice, but left the organization in 1939 following differences with Mahatma Gandhi. He founded the Forward Bloc and the Kisan Sabha before leaving for Singapore to organize the Indian National Army. After failing to secure Soviet Union support for India's freedom struggle, he joined hands with Germany and Japan to fight the British. His slogans Dilli Chalo and Jai Hind energized millions of youngsters in India. Bose went missing in 1945 after a plane crash in Taiwan.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
Dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Life after death was a cardinal belief in the Harappan civilization. Reflecting this is the skeleton of a middle-aged woman with gold bangles. Excavated from Rakhigadi in Haryana, it's an example of the burial practices in those times. Much like the Egyptian mummies, vessels, eatables, ornaments were kept near the dead body, in the hope that they would be of use to the person in the next world.
ध्रुपद गायकी का अनमोल सितारा।
ये पहली विधा थी जिसके अंदर राग को गाया और बजाया जाता था।
मिली बुजुर्गों की दुआ तो बनाया संगीत में एक अपना अलग मकाम।
ध्यान बहुत ज्यादा प्रेम रहा, उनका प्रेम ही रहा और इतने खुले दिल से तालीम दी उन्होंने कि डागर परिवार में ये परिवार के बाहर जो तालीम देने का सिलसिला ये हमारे दोनों उस्ताद नहीं किया।
मिली शख्सियत में ध्रुपद अंग की गायकी के लाजवाब कलाकार उदय भवलकर से शनिवार रात 10:30 बजे और रविवार सुबह 11 बजे सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, the Jawaharlal Nehru University Student Union President Kanhaiya Kumar's arrest on sedition charges has caused widespread outrage and sparked some more protests. Political parties jumped into the protest called on today, with CPIM, JDU leaders meeting Home Minister Rajnath Singh to discuss the situation on the campus. In fact, let's cut across to the campus where a host of senior opposition leaders have come in to express support with the JNU Students Union.
लेकिन यहाँ पर कैंपस में ऐसे ऐसे लोग आ रहे हैं जो न इस कैंपस में आने की योग्यता रखते हैं। आज राहुल गांधी जैसे लोग जो न कभी जेएनयू के एलुमनाई रहे हैं, वो यहाँ पर आके राजनीति के द्वारा बांटने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
JNU has been the site of a lot of bickering between the government and the opposition parties. The opposition parties have expressed support for after the arrest of the JNU Students Union leader Kanhaiya Kumar. In fact, let's go across to our correspondent Sham Sundar for more on the story. He's been tracking the developments as they happen over there. Sham, the political standoff over the arrest of Kanhaiya Kumar under sedition charges continues, but who will blink first? The government has also been rather firm in saying that anti-national activities will not be tolerated, but the definition of anti-national is, I guess, is what is causing this entire fracas in the first place.
Definitely, and what opposition leaders are saying that the students arrested, and especially JNU-SU President Mr. Kanhaiya Kumar, though he was present there, but he was not part of that group which shouted slogans alleged by the police and the government that there were anti-India slogans. So the opposition leaders are saying that police has arrested wrong people, and opposition is saying that we don't support these kind of slogans at JNU campus, but government has to define that what is anti-national, because in the universities and higher learning centers, every kind of opinion is there, and especially in JNU we have seen for years that there at times the extreme kind of opinions are also expressed there, and there is a culture of debate and discussion. So what Mr. Sitaram Yechury, General Secretary of CPM, is saying that after emergency in 1975, this kind of police action was taken place in JNU when police raided hostels and searched hostels and arrested student leaders. So it is a big debate, and opposition leaders met Mr. Rajnath Singh, and they pressed for early release of Mr. Kanhaiya Kumar, and they demanded that these charges should be withdrawn immediately, because these students and these groups, especially because he belongs from AISF, which is CPI's students wing, and CPI's or CPM or other left parties, they have a stated position on the Kashmir, and they don't support that group which raised slogans in favor of Kashmir's Azadi.
All right, so indeed the political fracas are there, too, set to continue for some time now, and indeed with the opposition rallying in the soon coming budget session, this could be a rallying point for the opposition to really target the government and wonder what happens over there. Sharma will of course keep a track on that story for us. But in the meantime, let's play out what's been happening through the day at JNU for you in a small story that we put together.
The national capital on Saturday witnessed multiple protests from student unions amid more arrests by the Delhi police. The situation worsened after Friday's arrest of Jawaharlal Nehru University Students' Union President Kanhaiya Kumar, who was arrested on sedition charges.
अगर सरकार सजा नहीं देगी तो हमारे जैसे संगठन अपने कंधों पर इस जिम्मेवारी को लेकर उनको इंस्टीट्यूट से ऐसे हमारे मंदिरों से निकालने का काम करेंगे, ये हमारी जिम्मेवारी।
Leaders of left parties and JDU met Home Minister Rajnath Singh demanding Kanhaiya Kumar's release, alleging that the new Vice Chancellor of JNU was acting on the instructions of the union government and allowed the police to go ahead with the crackdown.
उच्चतम शिक्षा के संस्थाओं के ऊपर इस तरीके का हमला जो हो रहा है, इसका विरोध हमने प्रकट किया आज गृह मंत्री जी के साथ, और उन्होंने यही आश्वासन हम सबको दी कि कोई निर्दोष आदमी के ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं कर।
Basically, we demanded Ms. Kanhaiya must be released forthwith. All charges must be withdrawn. Police must be withdrawn from JNU campus. JNU campus must be allowed to function in a normal way as university.
However, Home Minister Rajnath Singh asserted that no innocent would be harassed, but also said that the guilty will not be spared. The centre also called on the opposition to openly condemn what they call are anti-national activities at the varsity.
We must stand united. I would like to appeal the left and the Congress parties to come out and openly condemn this anti-national act perpetuated by some of the students. We must stand united. We can't allow JNU or any other educational institutions to be a hub of anti-party activities.
Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi tweeted a clarification saying no innocent would suffer and that Delhi Police was only doing its duty. However, the arrest continued. 7 students who were protesting at Indira Gandhi International Centre were taken into custody. Leaders of left parties and JDU visited the JNU campus after meeting the Home Minister. Congress leaders also joined them there. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time now to take a look at what else has been making news around the country nationwide. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley hit out at former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's criticism of the Modi government. He said the transition from UPA to NDA has been from policy paralysis to a global bright spot. In a Facebook post, Jaitley stated that the UPA policies were framed from Congress headquarters. Meanwhile, in the NDA government, Prime Minister Modi has the last word. 2 soldiers have been killed in an encounter in Kupwara and Jammu and Kashmir. 4 militants have also been eliminated in the army operation. The encounter entered its second day today. The gun battle broke out after police assisted by the army launched a cordon and search operation at the Marseri village in Chowkiwal area following specific information about a group of militants hiding in a house. The Election Commission of India declared the schedule for the by-elections in 12 assembly constituencies across 8 states, with Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka among them. The elections will be held on Saturday, while the counting of votes will take place on the 16th of February. The results will be declared on the same day. Three paramilitary personnel have been injured in an IED blast triggered by Maoists in Chhattisgarh. According to officials, the incident took place at around 11:15 a.m. in the jungles of Aranpur. The 3 men, who have been identified as Assistant Sub-Inspector Mohan and Constables Ghosh and Rajinder, have been airlifted to Dantewala. BJP's Vice President Vishweshwar Ojha was shot dead on Friday at Sonbarsha village. Ojha had just entered his car when the assailants, who had their faces covered, fired at him. Calling it a political killing, the BJP threatened to launch a statewide protest if Ojha's killers were not arrested within 72 hours. Now, the Obama administration has notified the US Congress of its decision to sell 8 F-16 fighter jets to Pakistan worth nearly $700 million. This comes despite mounting opposition from influential lawmakers from both the Republican and Democratic parties. The Obama administration said that the proposed sale contributes to the US foreign policy objectives and national security goals by helping improve the security of a strategic partner in South Asia. Asserting that this will not alter the basic military balance in the region, the Pentagon said that the proposed sale improves Pakistan's capability to meet current and future security threats. India, however, has expressed disappointment at the sale. MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup tweeted saying, "We disagree with the rationale that such arms transfer help combat terrorism. The record for the last several years speaks for itself." The US ambassador will be summoned by the MEA in this regard.
India has taken the right step to criticize it, to complain, to object to it, and we have called their ambassador today to tell him what we think about it. Even the domestic constituency of the Republicans and of the Democrats perhaps don't support all of it, knowing fully well that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. And therefore, we have to stop terrorism and not equip them to fight India.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel welcomed British Prime Minister David Cameron in Hamburg on Friday to discuss Britain's EU membership ahead of the Crunch EU summit later this month to help keep Britain in the Union. Cameron, who faces tight opinion polls and deep split within his party, made securing reforms a condition for campaigning to keep Britain in the European Union.
Among the many arguments British Prime Minister David Cameron gives for Britain to stay in the EU, this is perhaps the most compelling. Cameron says the world would be a more dangerous place if Britain voted to leave the European Union. In Germany, for talks with Chancellor Angela Merkel, Cameron hopes to win her support in preventing key British demands from being watered down during the EU summit next week.
When it comes to the question of Britain's future in Europe, my aim is clear. I want to keep Britain inside a reformed European Union. So if by working together we can achieve these changes, then I will unequivocally recommend that Britain stays in a reformed European Union on these new terms.
David Cameron is aware that the British public has had enough and will vote to leave in this year's referendum. He also has resistance from other countries to contend with. France is against safeguards Cameron wants on further Eurozone integration. Eastern European countries are also believed to want to water down the emergency welfare break plans.
Of course, if we can't, then I rule nothing out. But I believe that we can. And if we do, I believe we can win that referendum and that will be good for Britain, good for Germany, and good for the whole of Europe.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel said she is confident a deal to keep Britain in the European Union will be reached, but she warned more compromises may be needed on both sides.
Sie alle kennen meine Überzeugung. Ich wünsche mir, dass das Vereinigte Königreich auch in Zukunft aktives Mitglied in einer erfolgreichen Europäischen Union ist und bleibt. Das ist in unserem deutschen Interesse, wie auch, das darf ich nur ganz leise sagen, ich glaube auch im britischen, aber vor allen Dingen auch im gesamteuropäischen Interesse. Denn die Briten werden natürlich selbst entscheiden.
Speaking at a dinner in the German city of Hamburg with British Prime Minister David Cameron and civic and business leaders, Merkel said issues such as changes to social security systems need to be placed in a European context, not only a British one. Britain is seeking to restrict benefit eligibility for certain migrants and have more say in the running of its affairs from Brussels. Some members support the British position, while others are very sceptical of anything that weakens the sacred principle of free movement. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
The Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has vowed to retake the whole of Syria. Ironically, his declaration comes just a day after world leaders sought cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country.
A day after cessation of hostilities was agreed to by world leaders on paper, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has turned the tables. In a wide-ranging interview, he has vowed to retake the whole of Syria.
لا يعني أن نتوقف عن مكافحة الإرهاب، فلا بد من مسارين في سوريا. أولا التفاوض، ثانيا ضرب الإرهابيين، والمسار الأول منفصل عن المسار الثاني.
The US hit back, saying Assad was deluded if he thought there was a military solution to the conflict.
Look, I mean, he's deluded if he thinks that there's a military solution to the conflict in Syria. We've seen this wax and wane over now 5 years. But all we're looking at, if the Syrian regime continues the fighting, is more bloodshed, more hardship, and frankly, a greater hardening of positions on either side.
On Friday at the Munich Security Conference, Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif expressed willingness to put aside rivalries with Saudi Arabia.
We believe we face common threats. We believe ISIL and Nusra, extremists in general, are as much a threat to our brothers in Saudi Arabia as they are to the rest of the region.
We cannot defeat Daesh in Syria unless we bring about change in Bashar al-Assad. He is the man who helped create it by releasing radicals from his jails, by allowing Daesh to operate without attacking them, by even trading with them.
But several Western countries said there was no hope of progress without a halt to Russian bombing, which has decisively turned the balance of power in Assad's favor.
Russia is our largest neighbor, and it is an international power. We have seen a more assertive Russia, a Russia which is destabilizing the European security order.
The big powers led by the US and Russia struck a deal in Munich on Friday to start to bring an end to hostilities in a week and to provide rapid humanitarian access to besieged Syrian towns. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.